This is WLOX News Now at 6. Your news for South Mississippi starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. A massive fire burning in the DeSoto National Forest is now 90% contained.
Blackened trees and scorched branches can be seen in the area southwest of Highway 67 and 605. The wildfire had burned through 1,300 acres since it began early Wednesday. Officials say the U.S. Forest Service is now controlling the fire as it nears its end.
Yeah, of course, that dry weather kind of impacting that blaze, too. For more on how our weather conditions have done that, let's head over to meteorologist Aaron Colby.
Well, hey there, let's take a look out here at the IP Casino camera. You can actually see just a little bit of smoke still rising from that fire. And while we've seen these very dry and very windy conditions over the past couple of days, and we're also kind of going into a drought here. In the yellow, that's abnormally dry conditions, and in this tan, this is a moderate drought. This is mainly for portions of Jackson and George County. And while we've been seeing some very dry conditions, October normally one of our driest months of the year. This year in particular, extremely dry. Look at that. Both Moss Point and Gulfport almost even slightly above 2 inches below what we normally see by this point in October. Normal is right around 2 inches of rain, so almost no rain at all for some parts of South Mississippi. Take a look at the temperatures around town right now. Currently, lots of us starting to make our way back into the 60s. Some of us still right around 70 degrees, but we'll have that full details of the forecast coming up here in just a few minutes.
Authorities are asking for your help to find a missing George County man. 38-year-old Dustin Green was last seen in Loosedale on October 7th. Authorities say Green suffers from several medical conditions that may impair his judgment. If you have any information on his whereabouts, you're asked to call the George County Sheriff's Office.
Taking you outside now for a check on your Friday night traffic. Here's a live look at I-10 at the Pascagoula River Bridge. The traffic moving along there pretty good, but we do know about a traffic backup on I-10 near the Kill DeLille exit.
A $40 million upgrade project is planned on Highway 67 in Harrison County. That money is coming from the federal infrastructure bill. The project includes a comprehensive redesign of 43 intersections and median turns along 67. The work is similar to MDOT's recent redesign along Highway 49, where crossovers were changed to left turns and U-turns. Landon Orozco with the Mississippi Highway Patrol says that work will help state troopers and drivers in terms of ways to avoid crashes.
The way that these intersections are now going to work, you're not going to have as many T-bone or side impact type crashes, since you will be moving with the flow of traffic, essentially. So you'll look more into possibly a rear end or a side swipe, which is much less dangerous of a crash.
That work is slated to take place in 2025.
And we're learning new details tonight about the Mississippi Gulf Coast Community Road Project at the Harrison County campus. The project is about 75% complete and expected to be finished in mid-December. Officials say the project is also expected to be completed under budget. Both the entrance, road signage, and new stoplight there will be installed by the beginning of next year.
Well, if you're leaving Diamond Head and heading onto I-10, you'll pass a new shopping center on Kill DeLille Road. The shopping center is full of all women-owned businesses. You'll find a fitness shop, a beauty salon, boutiques, and coffee shops. Owners of the shopping center say the plaza has grown so much in the past year, and they're hoping for even more growth.
Really hoping for some nice restaurants, just something to bring and to continue to grow our community here and be able to offer more businesses and more food and products and whatnot for the area. So we're kind of on the line of Harrison County and Hancock County, so we're getting a little bit of both.
Business owners cut the ribbon on a new shop today. The shopping center is hoping to move into phase 2 of construction within the next few years.
Families right now are heading out to Biloxi to enjoy some fall fun. This is a live look at the Boo on the Roo, where you can enjoy music, a chili cook-off, and a costume contest. A lot of people out there right now having fall fun. It continues until 8 o'clock tonight.
Honoring those who live by the term "see something, say something." Today, law enforcement from all over the state teamed with area leaders and community members for the Mississippi Crime Stoppers Conference and award ceremony at the IP Resort and Casino in Biloxi.
We're waiting for the public, the families, the victims are waiting for the public to say something, because on so many of these cases, someone knows something.
State Representative Kevin Felsher earned one of the 6 yearly Crime Stoppers Awards for his work with Gulf Coast law enforcement and local Crime Stoppers team members.
Tomorrow, you may get the chance to see mullets get some air. Organizers are setting up for this year's Gaucher Mullet and Music Fest. The fun takes place tomorrow. There will be arts and crafts, a car and motorcycle show, delicious food, live music, and of course, the mullet toss. Organizers say this is not just about a day of fun, it's about bringing the community together.
We get our sponsors, which of course you'll see right back here, some of our sponsors, and they give us donations, and we're able to give it back to Backpack Buddies and CASA and just different foundations around here, the animal shelter, and they're able to do great things for our community in return.
The Gaucher Mullet and Music Fest begins tomorrow at 9 a.m. with the fun set to continue through 6 tomorrow night.
Here's a look at some other events taking place in South Mississippi this weekend. The 14th annual Bras Across the River Fun Walk is tomorrow at Pelican Landing in Moss Point. The walk starts at 9 a.m. That event raises money and awareness for breast cancer research. And Beauvoir is hosting its annual Fall Muster tomorrow and Sunday, where you can learn about life during the Civil War. For a look at other events happening across South Mississippi, just go to GulfCoastWeekend.com.
Coming up next, Mississippi Power doing its part to help clean up our environment. We'll show you how volunteers are making waves in renewing our waterways.
And amid an IV fluid bag shortage, we'll show you how one Mississippi hospital is dealing with the issue.
You're watching the news for South Mississippi. This is WLOX News Now at 6.
Sponsored exclusively in high definition by Chevron Pascagoula Refinery, the human energy company.
Cleaning up our waterways in South Mississippi. This week, Mississippi Power volunteers hosted 2 Renew Our Rivers events. Earlier today, volunteers spent their morning removing debris from the Pascagoula River in Moss Point. On Tuesday, volunteers helped clean up trash from the Wolf River, Jordan River, and the Bay. Mississippi Power says since the program began in 2006, volunteers have removed more than 425 tons of debris from waterways across the state.
Well, you're invited to put on a pink dress tomorrow morning and help raise money for the fight against breast cancer. The Carter's Champions Pink Dress Run Walk is happening in downtown Gulfport. This is video from last year's event. It's the 8th year for this fundraiser. Registration begins at 9 a.m. at Chandelier Island Brewing Company. There will be a survivor celebration, and the run walk starts at 11 a.m. Registration costs $35. All money raised is going to the Memorial Hospital Foundation to help people battling breast cancer and the cost of treatment and tests.
Hospitals across the country are being forced to take conservation measures with IV fluids. That's because operations at Baxter International, the largest IV fluid manufacturing plant in the U.S., were affected by Hurricane Helene. St. Dominic's Hospital in Jackson has about 60 to 80-day supplies on hand right now, but officials say that depends on what size bag is needed. The manufacturer sent notice this week that it will be upping the shipments, but only from 40 to 60% of the usual allotment.
Patients come to the emergency room. Many times nurses are going over some just standard admit kind of things as we're getting you tucked in. They're drawing lab. They're just starting some fluids. We're going to ask that they wait until the doctor sees them and decides, do we really need fluids in this patient? They may not, you know.
Health officials say IV fluid is not something that can be stockpiled because of the size and weight of the bags, and they expire.
St. Louis is lending a hand to those affected by Hurricane Milton. Organizers are hoping to fill an 18-wheeler with donated supplies. Clothing will not be accepted. Drop-off locations include Bay St. Louis City Hall and Bay St. Louis Fire Station 1. And WLOX's parent company, Gray Media, is still partnering with the Salvation Army to help those in Florida. You can scan that QR code on your screen now, or you can go to the website to on your screen to donate. With the money raised so far, more than 90,000 meals have been served after Hurricane Milton alone.
Full details of your forecast coming up next, but first let's take a look at that marine forecast if you plan on heading out on the water tomorrow.
Now, WLOX First Alert Weather with meteorologist Aaron Colby.
Well, good evening. Take a look at the Hancock Whitney camera over in Gulfport. Camera's still shaking quite a bit. We do still have quite the breeze out there. 68 degrees at the Gulfport airport right now. Southeast wind at 10 miles an hour. Still very breezy out there at the moment, and it's been a very dry month. October, normally our driest month of the year, but this year in particular, look at that. Normally by this part of the month we're near or a little bit above about 2 inches of rainfall across South Mississippi. Most of us really haven't seen much rain at all. Moss Point, just a little bit over ½ an inch of rain. And look at Gulfport, and there's at the Gulfport airport, just above 1/10 of an inch of rain for the entire month of October so far. That's why we are still seeing those drought conditions continue to develop. In that bright yellow, that's more of an abnormal dry period. That's not necessarily a drought just yet. However, you can see portions of Jackson and George County getting in that tan color. That's a moderate drought, and we can probably expect this to continue to head into the rest of South Mississippi, especially as the next update will come out. Of course, this update's every Thursday. Now, just heads up real quick, another thing to look at, some minor coastal flooding will be possible for portions of coastal Hancock County. That's mainly because of strong winds early tomorrow morning. Could push the tides just a little bit higher than they normally do come. Just some nuisance flooding from that. And take a look at the radar and the satellite across, well, most of the eastern half of the country. Not much clouds, not much rain, because we have this very strong high pressure system keeping the clouds and rain away. That will help us have a really nice weekend though. Look at that, highs right around 80 degrees. It's going to stay pretty dry and breezy for the next several days, but we will continue to warm up just a little bit as we head into the week. Tomorrow morning, once again, very breezy out there. Winds around 15 miles an hour and gusts up to 20 miles an hour, maybe even a little bit more than that. Offshore as well, very strong wind gusts, about 20 to 30 miles an hour. So if you have plans to be offshore, just be cautious of that. And as we go throughout the day tomorrow, of course, the breeze will relax, but especially for coastal areas, we could still be gusting around 10 to 15 miles an hour going into the afternoon and evening hours. And take a look at the temperatures. These are your morning temperatures as you make your way into the week. Well, all weekend still in the 50s. Next week, we do kind of rebound just a little bit back up into the 60s for your morning temperatures. Quick update on the tropics as well. Let's take a look at this. We now have a potential tropical cyclone 15. This is down in the northwestern Caribbean. This is expected to move towards the country of Belize. Should become a tropical storm, or at least is expected to become a tropical storm here within the next 24 hours. Potential tropical cyclone is just the designation they give. It's not really strong enough or organized enough to actually be called a tropical cyclone yet, or a tropical storm, but it is expected to within the next 24 hours, and it will be impacting land soon. So that's why they give it the designation. That way we can produce the cone and start issuing warnings and stuff like that. No threats to the Gulf Coast at this time. Of course, lots of wind shear in the Gulf will be keeping any threats away from us for the next at least 7 to 10 days. And take a look at this. Next name on the list, should this become a tropical storm, is Nadine. And take a look at the 7-day forecast. Things really nice as we go through the next several days. Lots of sunshine, low chance of rain, morning temperatures making their way back up into the 60s by about the middle of the week. High temperatures in the 80s all week long.
Well, families are set to face tonight's school weather to show off their school spirit as high school football teams prepare to take the field this Friday night. A preview of that action next.
Plus, the Fallen Oak Collegiate Invitational returning to the Gulf Coast this weekend. How some of the golfers are feeling ahead of the tee-off. The Friday night lights are back on as we enter week 8 of the high school football season. Cool night for some football.
Yeah, our Blake Brandon joins us live from Perkinston with more on tonight's game between Stone and Van Cleve. How is it out there, Blake?
Hey guys, and hello from Perk. As we've said, a beautiful night for football, finally getting into football weather. Homecoming night here for the Stone Tomcats as they welcome in the Van Cleve Bulldogs as we get into the second week of region play for 5A. Both these teams coming into tonight with a 3-3 overall record. Stone has a 1-0 record in region play, but Van Cleve sitting at 0-1 for that region record. Last time out, for both these teams, Van Cleve dropped the region opener to Gaucher, and Stone getting a big win over Laurel between the bricks up on the road to get a 1-0 lead in the region to start 5A play. Historically, this is Stone's game, though. They lead 16-9 overall, but the Bulldogs took this one last year 27-23, so Van Cleve looking to play spoiler once again here to the Tomcats on homecoming night. Everything's set to get kicked off here in Perk at around 7 o'clock. We have some of the homecoming festivities as well tonight. This is just one of the many games we'll have for you on the Friday Night Football Showdown, but I'll see you back there on the desk at 10:15 for the Friday Night Football Showdown. But until then, reporting live here in Perkinston, Blake Brandon, WLOX News Now.
The second annual Fallen Oak Collegiate Invitational tees off tomorrow morning. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, LSU, and Southern Miss are all competing in this year's event. The Rebels are currently the second-ranked team in the nation, while the Tigers sit at number 5. Mississippi State is in the top 25 also, beginning the week at number 22 in the poll. Ahead of the tournament, both the Rebels and Bulldogs spoke about the excitement of hosting a tournament here in Mississippi.
It's nice, you know, it's pretty unusual. I think this is our only event that we play in the home state, so it'd always be nice to kind of win and kind of just represent Mississippi well. I think that's what we're excited to do.
I think it's high, obviously. You get an opportunity to play a golf course like this. You know, you have weather, you know, it's just as perfect of a week as you can get, and then you look at the field. You look at these teams that have come to Mississippi to compete, so I think everyone's excited to get the week started.
With us being from Mississippi and having a tournament in Mississippi, it's going to be really exciting for us to be able to come and represent our home state.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get to play a tournament in your home state of Mississippi is great, especially for our supporters, our university. So to come down on the coast and compete at a place like Fallen Oak is pretty special.
Mississippi State's team tees off at 9:30 in the morning, while Ole Miss starts at 12:30.
The TSA is planning ahead for the tens of thousands of people expected in New Orleans for the Taylor Swift concert, the holidays, and the Super Bowl. It's added 17 automated screening lanes at the Louis Armstrong International Airport. Officials say it'll speed up the security process by screening multiple people and luggage at the same time.
Your computer and your liquids, gels, and aerosol bag can stay inside your suitcase if you're in one of those lanes, even if you're not in TSA pre-check.
This innovative new technology will help improve efficiency and safety here, which of course are two of our primary goals at an airport.
The TSA says a number of machines will be up and running in time for the Taylor Swift concert next weekend, when about 28,000 people are expecting to make their way through the airport each day.
Taking a look outside now, we have clear skies, setting up for a nice sunset. We'll have an update on your weekend forecast next. Looks like it's going to be cool overnight, but then it's going to warm up tomorrow and be absolutely beautiful both days for the weekend.
Right, all weekend long we're still seeing those very dry, very breezy conditions, and look at that. I mean, this next 7 days there's going to be really nice morning temperatures in about the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees, especially as you get later into the week. And those afternoon temperatures very slowly climbing their way back up into the mid-50s or mid-80s. That would be great if we had 50s in the afternoon. But if you're heading out for any plans this evening or tonight, well, we're cooling off fairly quickly. We'll be back into those about mid-50s by about midnight. So we will be cooling off rather quickly.
All right, finally starting to feel like fall out there. Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.